Hello, my name is Jen, and I thought that I would make a video, a little walkthrough of my Week in the Life from 2017 album. This is my first video, so here we go. So I made this little album out of just a big pile of my scrap papers. I had some 12 by 12 pads, and I just really wanted to use what I had on hand. So I just trimmed them all to the same size, and then I just hand stitched the binding with just some floss here. Just really simple. And then it got quite bulky, and I didn't want to have to worry about it coming undone a bunch of times. So I sewed just a ribbon and sewed it on each side. So I'm going to open this guy up. There we go. So I didn't put anything on the cover. I don't know if I will. I kind of like it sort of blank. I usually do put things on the cover, but this is probably going to be jammed in a bookshelf with other books like this, and so maybe it's best that it doesn't have something that's just going to come flying off as it's being moved about. So in the front here, I just used some stamps. I just stamped A Week in the Life. I tried to use a lot of die cuts that I've had hanging around that I haven't been using, trying to get rid of my stuff. I stamped all of the days of the week here, and I tried to use a lot of these, I believe it's Simple Stories, little word stickers. On this page, I used a Project Life card right here, and I just put like the reason why. I like that Ali Edwards does that, so I thought that would be kind of fun. And then I put our ages, because it's always kind of interesting when you look back to, you don't remember how old people were at the time. And then I used another little die cut here. When I made the book, I just glued the pages together, but they weren't very sturdy. I was worried about them falling apart. So I just took my sewing machine and stitched all around the edge with gold, of course, because I am obsessed with gold, anything gold. So I started with the process of trying to do the same thing over and over again, just to make it, you know, cohesive, and I don't know, I just think that's kind of an easy way to do a mini album, is just kind of start with a plan and just continue that through the whole album. So I used some really big stamps and just stamped Mun for Monday, and then I used that mega stamp from Studio Calico here. And then I tried, like I said, I tried to use a lot of my scraps. So I have a whole big container of scraps. When I do my Project Life, I often will do a little like 3x4 or 4x4 square photo, and then I use my 6x6 paper pads to cut a 4x6 and put it behind the photo. That leaves me with a little 2x2 scrap. And I just keep them because I can't throw anything away. And that's what I tried to use these for. So I just did different colors and just kind of layered them up behind. This is not my typical style. I'm usually very cohesive with my coloring, but this time I thought, you know what, we're just gonna put everything in there and it's gonna go. We're just gonna make it go. So when I made this album, I put some little papers in, and I didn't make this album specifically for A Week in the Life. I just threw it together, and so it's kind of fun to see how it sort of just comes together, even though I really didn't plan it. Every once in a while I would use some little tiny stamps just for fun. And then I just basically journaled about the day. I did what Ali Edwards did on hers, where I just looked at the time that I took the photo, and then I just used my time date stamp from Ali Edwards to put the time. And so every once in a while I fudge the time, but no one's going to know. Just so that it looked better. And then after I was done putting all the photos in and doing all of the date stamping, then I went back and added little die cuts. I added a strip of this gold striped washi to almost every picture. Just kind of embellished it up a little bit to make it more fun. So I work as a nurse, and I work in labor and delivery, and it's really hard to get photos of my job. And that's something that makes this project really difficult for me, is that I don't have a job that I can take photos and have it be appropriate. So I did my best. I mostly took photos of things, and just so you know, that's a great way to do that and still keep your job private if you have a job like mine. So I took like a picture of me getting my patient some juice and getting my Pitocin to start her labor started, and what I had for lunch, and then what the room looked like after the delivery. So I didn't put any details that would be bad for HIPAA laws. I just did just generalized things, nothing detailed that I could get in trouble. And I don't want to, I want the patient to be private, so. So on my work days, I didn't really get a lot of great photos, but that's just kind of how it is. I did take photos of things that I was listening to and things that I was reading. So then I just kind of followed my formula, basically. So here's the Tuesday, the date, all the little stamps that say Tuesday, paper scraps, embellishments, the gold strip. Another thing where I had to go to work for a meeting, my view on the way home, relaxing. I used a few times, I would use like little tags, paper strips, and here's those letter stamps again. When I made the album, I did use my little punches, so I love how that just kind of adds like a texture. And I like these albums, how you touch the photos, and I'm sure they don't have, hold up as well, but I still think it's pretty fun. So just kind of the routines, my kids coming home from school and what they do, and me falling asleep on the sofa with my kitty. I mostly did 3x4 photos, and then I did print some 4x6, but they didn't quite fit in this album. I think this album is 6x8-ish, so I just trimmed off whatever side to make it fit in the album. I didn't use a lot of larger photos in this project. Here's another large photo just of me cooking dinner. Another insert that just happened to be there, so I used it to nurse talk, to journal about what the meal was. And I did use a lot of gold embellishments because I just love anything gold. I did use some staples on some things. You can see that. Yeah. My daughter's messy room. This page just ended up being blank for some reason. I didn't want to start the next day on this page. The flow just wasn't right, so I just kind of embellished it up, and I think it's pretty cute. You can't see that, but I just kind of let that. Just using bits and pieces. This guy right here I have had in my stash for a long time. I made it for a project, didn't like how it looked, so I've just kept it in my stash, and it's just stitched from one of those Amy Tangerine stitch plates, and it's just so cute. Glad I got to finally use it. So here we go, Wednesday, same thing. When I do Week in the Life, I always like to take a picture of what my makeup routine is, which is kind of funny to even say it that way because it's not much at all. So, but it is kind of fun to look back at those kinds of things later and be like, oh, I'm still using that same kind of chapstick. Oh, I changed my face powder. I don't know. That kind of stuff is just fun to me. When I made the album, I did do a little bit of some peekaboo like punches, and I think that's just really fun. Just randomly put them in places. Another Project Life card. I believe this one's from the Dreamy Kit. So I had to go to a skills day at work, and I know this picture is very weird, you guys, but we were doing breastfeeding teaching, so there you go. We have a fake breast that we're practicing on. Moving on. My lunch, I did sew a little, or actually no, I stapled it, a little piece of paper here, just for some texture and some interest, and it was just kind of blank up here. More of those. I thought this one was so funny because I love the Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A, and this little saying, awesome sauce, it just made me laugh. I don't know where I got these. I've had them in my stash forever. They worked out perfect. Another Project Life card. Some paper scraps. Another Project Life card, I believe, that I just cut. Another peekaboo there. I love this Domino's tracker on my cell phone that I can know when they're on their way. I just think it's so funny and fun. So I used that when I got some pizza. This die cut, oh my gosh. I have had this thing in my stash forever, it seems like, and it just never seems to fit anywhere. And I tried not to overthink things in this album. I just put it there and said, okay, it goes. And actually, you know what? It does. It doesn't need to match perfectly. I just tried to make it go, not match. I'm usually someone who matches everything just perfect. Oh, this was kind of fun. I just used the Amsterdam, you know what I mean, a little stamp, and 2 different ones, and just stamped it just for some texture and interest on that page. Just felt kind of blank up there. This one I just got a bunch of different papers and just kind of threw them all in together. I did a lot of tearing. That's like something super old school that I used to do when I first started scrapbooking. So that was kind of fun to do that technique again. I've been scrapbooking since about 1999. I started when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I've done all different kinds of scrapbooking. I started out with 8.5 by 11s, and then I went to 12 by 12s, and then I've done lots of like little albums, just like regular photo albums where I put photos in. And then Project Life came out, and I became obsessed with Project Life. So I mostly would say I do Project Life every once in a while, very rarely a 12 by 12 page. And then I really like to do mini albums for vacations and events and stuff like that. I did a little label here, just the torn paper. I got a work selfie, so that's kind of fun. I made it black and white. Me getting my patient's room ready. On this day, I did my journaling a little bit different. I was listening to, let's see, Jess Forrester, I want to say. She's got a podcast, and she had Allie Edwards on and a couple other guests, and they were talking about a week in the life, and they mentioned this journaling theme where it says, today you. And so I did all my journaling in my iPhone under the notes section. And so that day, I focused on journaling from that starting point. Today you, today you. So for instance, it says, today you feel so tired waking up. Today you do your routine of getting coffee and taking Zeus out to the bathroom, and you feel frustrated that he was taking so long because you felt you were running late. So when I do my journaling, I do not worry about being correct. I don't care. I just let it flow. So it's not going to be grammatically correct. It's going to be real life. I have run-on sentences, misspellings. It might not even make sense to other people. But I feel like that is me. And I am not someone who's really good at writing well. And so it's really reflecting my true personality. If it was perfect, then it wouldn't be reflecting my personality. I don't spell very well. And I'm certainly not a great writer, but it's me, and I think it makes sense. On this side, I made a little flip up, just because I had so much to say, because of that journaling prompt really made me kind of flow with my words. I never worry about making sure that I have the right space when I journal. I just keep going, and if I run out of room, I figure out a way to include it. So I flipped up on that one too. Work photo of my coworkers who I love. My dinner, which was really weird that day. I liked how this one, I just kind of had it run over the page just for some fun. Didn't worry about what it looked like on the back. There's Friday. My daughter's high heels. She wears high heels every day, and she's crazy. Me, a little selfie after finally hitting the gym. My lunch. Another one of those cards that just happened to be sewn in. My kitty cat. just kind of keeps going. I like this because I do love pasta, so stamped that out. My favorite wine. Oh, I was so sore from the gym that day. Oh my goodness. I haven't been very consistent. And it definitely, my body could tell. And then scrapbooking. Finally got to scrapbook that week, so took a picture of that. Here's where I really started to get tired of this project, you guys. So I didn't take a lot of photos on Saturday and Sunday. I was working both days, so like I said, not a lot of opportunities to take photos, and I was just kind of getting tired of the project. So this picture, I actually took this picture on another day. I don't even know what day. I just snuck it in because I really didn't have enough photos to complete the Saturday and make it look completed. So I just pretended. No one's gonna know, right? Ooh, my weight. Before work selfie. Another one of those inserts. And then I got off early that day, so a picture of my drive home, which my husband got mad at me. He's like, you should not be taking photos while you're driving. It was really fast. I was careful. We tried this sushi burrito place, and it was not good, you guys. So I loved that I could stamp total fail, epic fail. Not everything is perfect in life, but it was worth trying a new place. We love trying I love trying new places. Self-timer, I try to take inspiration from Allie Edwards, where she does self-timers and she shows herself doing like chores and things like that. I really love those photos, and those photos are fun to look at in the end. Again, these photos were probably not taken on Sunday, but I was desperate because I didn't take a lot of photos. So just things in my shower. I really like to take this picture every year that I do Week in the Life. I haven't done Week in the Life every single year. I think the last time I did it was 2 or 3 years ago, because I don't feel like my life is such an intensive project. I don't feel like my life is that different year to year that I want to put in the work of this project. But I do love to take a photo of what's in my shower because that is fun to see back later on. Plus, I don't know. I've asked people this question before, and some people had said no, but I would be totally fascinated if my grandma, who passed away when I was in my early 20s, if I had a book like this of her life. Like, I would just love it. I would love reading the details of her life and what was in her shower, and maybe it's just my personality, and I just think that's a really cool thing. And I've asked people, and they're like, I don't know, why would you care? But I don't know, I just think that's something, I just find it fascinating. The pills that I take every day, and then just my view for the whole day. I was filling in as a charge nurse, and I basically just sat at this same spot and watched the baby's heart rates to make sure they were safe all day. And it was a really slow day. I don't even think we had a single delivery. It made it really long. And so I think I only have like 2 photos from this day because there just wasn't anything going on. Waiting for my food in the cafeteria. And then this is it. This is the last picture, which is kind of sad. I wish I had taken a picture of like the bed or what I was reading or something, but I actually didn't even journal on Saturday and Sunday in my notes app on my iPhone, so I don't even remember any details from these days. So I just kind of said, you know, this is kind of how this project goes. You do lose your mojo up towards the end. Just kind of go with it, put what you've got. It's not going to make the project any, you know, it's not going to lose its value from that. There's still plenty of other photos. And it's like Allie Edwards has said, you know, she says she takes the most photos on the first day, the Monday, which I actually didn't because it was a work day. I didn't take a lot of photos. But on Tuesday, that was my first day that I wasn't working, and I did take quite a few photos on that day. Like, that's probably the most photos that I took was on that day. And yeah, and I did pretty good on, this must be Wednesday because I was also off that day. And then, so I feel like the project is, I think it looks awesome. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I had a lot of fun making it, and I feel like I'm going to enjoy looking back over it and just, all the details of, my husband helping my daughter with her Spanish homework and, what we ate. All that kind of stuff is just super fun. And I do include that in Project Life, but not as detailed as this project, where you've got the times of things and just more intensive. I would never have thought, if I wasn't doing this project, to take this picture here. I just wouldn't have even thought to take it. So that's what I really like about this project. I think it's just so much fun. And I'm thankful to Ali Edwards for coming up with this and for the community. And I just think it's so much fun, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed my little walkthrough. It's my first, like I said, so I really don't know what I'm doing. But I hope it was of value and that you enjoyed it. And maybe you're like me. Sometimes you just don't feel like scrapbooking or crafting. You're just not feeling it. And so I'm sort of feeling it. Just, I don't want to actually do it. I want to maybe think about it. So when I feel like that, I watch YouTube videos on Project Life and mini albums, and it just inspires me. It fills my crafting cup up, and usually it makes me want to go craft. It makes me, whatever was holding me back, it gets rid of that. I just feel inspired. It's just fun. Or sometimes I just don't have the energy to craft, and I'm in bed late at night, and I just want to watch a video, and I want to watch what they do, and I want to have a peek into their life. I guess I'm kind of a voyeur, you guys. But yeah, sometimes I just don't feel like actually doing the crafting. I just want to lay in bed, be lazy, and watch someone else show what they've done and maybe get some inspiration. So I hope I've inspired you, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel, and I'm hoping to come up with some more videos. Okay, bye-bye.